name is Lynn Anderson. I've been training rein cow horses for 35 years. I'm in the NRCHA Hall of Fame. I have won nearly $900,000 of rein cow horse earnings, and it's one of several videos that we have out. And this one is focusing on how to break your horses. I mean, most of the other ones are how to show your horses, how to get your horse show ready. This one is a very general video on how to get any horse broke for any discipline. I mean, there are tips in here that people just never think about when they're breaking their horse, like making your horse stand still. You know, it's just a really good things on the things that I've done through the years, that I've learned, that I always have to fall back on. When things go wrong, I always go back to something that the colt has learned in the first 30 days of their life. You know, it's just, everything has to go back to the core training. So once I get this horse out here and he's going in a straight line, the first thing I work on is just going forward in a straight line, doing some circles, and just make it real easy on him. The next thing I want to ask for is their head to the right when they're still going straight. So, and then once they do that, work on the left side, and make sure that horse will keep his body straight and just give me that bend from his head to his shoulders. And when I first started doing this, I used to look at a post and make sure that that post bisected the middle of his shoulders, and I knew that I wasn't going off of my line. You need a straight line to look at and make sure your horse is nice and confident and will give his head to you at any time in any way. He doesn't always have to be turning just because I've got a hold of his left side of his face with my left leg is in him, holding him straight. Then release when he does that. Ask him to come to the right. You start with my right leg. My left leg is pushing him forward. Now he kind of wants to go to the left because he figures that's what we should be doing. And it's just a real low pressure thing at this time. If your horse doesn't get it, then go over to the rail and just start it on the rail. That's no problem. And then you're guaranteed you'll be going straight. Ask him to give his head to the right, but keep his whole body straight. To do this, you've got to use your legs in conjunction with your hands. Turn around. And ask this horse to look to the left. I've got both legs moving him forward and having him look to the left. Then the other thing that I want to do when they come out here is just make sure I can pick up one rein and they turn and come into that fence. It just kind of gets them broke, gets them on their hind end. This horse didn't give me enough nose, so I'm going to ask him. That time he gave me much better nose. The nose should come there instead of out the way it did up here. Pick him up. Again, the nose didn't come as far as I want, so I'm going to reinforce it by really making him trot and give me his nose a little bit. Pick up the right rein. He comes through really good there. Pick up the left rein. He wants to stop that way instead of just bringing his nose. And you can do that out here too. I might work, just bring his nose. Bring his nose. Bring his nose, bump him down with that outside rein. If he doesn't bring his nose and his head wants to come up a little bit, bring his nose. So just kind of work on that daily. I'll work 2 or 3 times more on the left side than I will on the right side, because the right side he does everything. He brings it with one smooth motion. And it shouldn't be a real quick thing. It should just be a nice, comfortable move. As fast as I'm trotting along there, that's as fast as I want him to trot out of those turns. Then again for that stop, whoa. Okay, they're supposed to listen to the word whoa. They're supposed to listen to when you quit riding and sit down in that stop position. And they're supposed to stop when you take up those reins. So work on each of those. Sometimes you think that your horse is stopping with the word whoa, but you're actually using 80% of the hand and the horse is listening to 100% of the hand. So I almost will go ahead and work on all of them separately. The body gets the speed control on the circles when you go into a big, fast, small, slow circle. Then as soon as I quit riding, as soon as my horse is listening to me, then I know he's listening to the body. This horse was not listening to my reins very good, so I make sure I have speed control at the walk. If I want to slow his walk down to as slow as I want it to go, I started to work on that to get my speed control at the lope a little bit better. Once I went back to that slower speed, it worked a whole lot better for this horse. Then when I went back up to the lope, he slowed down. You pick up those reins, something's supposed to happen. Slow as much as they can. Then on the young horses, I kind of like to work on the word whoa when they're just trotting. Whoa. I quit riding, he's supposed to stay, the head's supposed to stay in the one place. If it's not, I'll bump it down. This horse, his default, everything he goes back to when he gets scared or something bothers him is his head goes straight up in the air. So I've always got to guard against that. And every time he thinks about it, I've got to correct him and put his head back down. So that time I only stopped him with my body and my hands. I always got to stop riding with my body because otherwise I'm not being truthful to him if I keep riding. So same thing at the lope. That time I just used my voice and I didn't use my hands at all. And he stopped real polite, kept his head where I want. After that stop, they need to always kind of be ready to back up. If they're not ready to back up, then they're not going to hold that stop. So now let's try not saying the word whoa and just using my hands. Okay, there he was pretty good. He likes to root out just a little bit with his nose, and he kind of wants to stop with his front feet out there. So I'll make this colt back up a step or two every time I kind of feel him push into my hands and get him to back off and be polite.